feels so nice. All those tendons you can feel just loosening up. They're super tight for me, I know. Now, as our shoulder is down and our head is tilted, we're going to slowly bring those eyes down to the floor. And that's going to stretch the back of that neck right there, holding it for 10 seconds. And all these stretches, we want to make sure that we're coming back up gently. We're not snapping back into place, because you can pull a muscle or tweak your tendon. All right, we're going to go to the other side. Make sure to keep those shoulders down. Another 5 seconds here, and then we're going to again rotate that chin and those eyes down to the floor, stretching the back of that neck off to the side. All right, we're going to bring that head back up, and we're going to do some head circles. Again, gently pick a direction, rotate slowly for 4 circles, going one direction. Kind of makes me dizzy. We're going to do the other direction. I can hear cracking. Okay. Now we're going to do some arm circles. So just make sure that no one's beside you, or make sure they're beside you if you want to whack them. Going to do some forward arm circles. Oh, that feels so nice for about 5 seconds forward, 5 seconds back. Excellent. We're going to bring our hands down to our side. We're going to focus on our posture right now. We're going to keep our shoulders down. We're going to suck our core in, which just means suck that belly button in towards your spine. You're going to rotate the top of your hips forward. We're just going to hold that 5 seconds. I personally can feel that in the back, like the lower back right there. All right, and relax. And we're going to do that one more time. So shoulders down, core sucked in, rotate the hips forward, hold it for 5 seconds. All right, now we're going to pick a shoulder. We're going to throw it across the chest. We're going to hold that. 3, 2, 1. Oh, tight. Other shoulder. However, because the gyms have been closed for forever, I got a at-home spin bike, so that's why I'm tight. Got to work out somehow. All right, now we're going to do arm cross rotation. So you're going to give yourself a hug. And you're going to keep your butt in one place, and you're just going to rotate side to side. Ooh.
Bye. Okay. I'll turn the video off now. Oh,
All right, arms back down. We're going to do a shoulder blade squeeze. So we're going to have those hips forward, the shoulders down, and we're going to act like we're pinching that pencil on the back of our shoulders. So we're just going to push it out. Hold it for 5 seconds. We should be probably doing these every day, but I know I don't. All right, then we're going to practice our showing how much weight we've gained over quarantine. We're going to pull that chin in. Yep, that's a good weight, which is why I got a spin bike. All right, focus on the shoulders down, pull that chin in again. All right, shake it out. We're going to end with 2 deep breaths. In 5 seconds, out 5 seconds. All right, thanks for everyone. Excited to get to meet all of our speakers today, and hope everyone has a great weekend ahead of them.
Hey, Annette, thanks so much. Appreciate you getting us all warmed up and whatnot. So, hey, to start today's session, we're just going to have a discussion on what AmpSurf is doing as far as COVID-19 goes, and how we're going to hopefully get our clinics relaunched out there across the country at all of our chapters. And we are starting this coming weekend, the 25th and 26th, up in Oregon at our Pacific Northwest chapter for our first event of the year. It's actually at the beach and with people getting in the water and experiencing adaptive surf therapy live and in color. So let me just share really quick our policy and procedures manual for COVID-19. Can everybody see that okay? Just, I can't see you when I have it on, so let me see if I can get that to work. And here we go, show video panel. Can everybody still see the manual stuff okay? Just give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure I'm not blocking it with my grid view and whatnot. So anyway, so yeah, so we've put together this policies and procedures in conjunction with the ISTO, which is the International Surf Therapy Organization. We've taken some bits and pieces from different orgs across the world, some from our friends in the Netherlands and some in South Africa, Switzerland, and other areas. And so hopefully we can use these and adapt them at all of our chapters to make sure that while we're all getting together for these events, we're keeping everybody safe and making sure that we're not spreading the virus with anyone. So let me just kind of, I'm not going to read, and hold on, there we go. I think, yeah. So, the situation is, we provide these clinics and stuff, and because of the COVID-19, everybody's having to social distance and whatnot. I doubt you can read this. It's pretty small on here. I apologize. But it just highlights, what we do, why we do it, and some of the information that's out there available to people as far as, the way COVID-19 works, what its half-life is. If you're not familiar with the term half-life, it's the time it takes for the virus so if you have 1,000 COVID-19 virus particles on your hand, say, and you're out in the sunlight, the CDC and the Department of Health and Human Services have determined that it only can last less than 2 minutes before it's cut in half, which means that 1,000 particles would drop down to 500 particles, and so on and so forth. So the actual determination is about 1.5 minutes in sunlight, and so it's the UV rays that are affecting that. So ideally, when we gather at the beach, like next weekend up in Oregon, we'll ask everyone before they walk up to anybody else, just to hang out for 5 to 10 minutes outside their vehicle and soak in some sun rays and help us to, diminish if they are potentially, carrying the virus on them in any way. I don't know, you pick it up on a doorknob or something like that, it would diminish. And then we will also be using the digital point and click thermometers when people come, and taking their temperature and stuff like that, and using PPE, which we'll cover all that in a couple minutes. But why it's needed right now more than ever is we have a lot of people that come to our events that are suffering from not only physical conditions, but others that have mental health issues. And so, they've had an uptick in veteran suicide during this. We've had an uptick in all sorts of different mental health issues because of the social isolation and stuff like that. And so we want to make sure that people can socialize. One of the reasons why we do these online clinics, and that's why we do them as often as we do, so that people can have the opportunity, even though they can't connect at the beach with us, they can connect via this virtual platform and at least be able to get that social interaction that we all need as human beings. And even though we're not at the beach, Doug and I were discussing earlier, Doug Cox, there's a lot more that goes on in our clinics than just the surfing. It's that social interaction with your peers. It's that camaraderie and everything else. And, yes, we're not in the water like today, but, you all get to hear me drone on and on and on about stuff. So how lucky can you be, right? No, it's just good. It's good for us to be able to get together like this. And we need this as human beings for sure. Okay, let me go on to the next page. So the program, how are we going to do this at the beach? So all of our clinics now are going to have to become basically multi-day events to make them work, to be able to get at least, hopefully, 12 people in the water per weekend, which is half of what a regular one-day clinic would have. So how we will do it is we'll have two groups of volunteers and participants. Basically, it'll be two groups of 9 per day. So this coming Saturday up in Oregon for the Pacific Northwest chapter, we will have the two groups of 9, which is so one set of 9, and then another set, and so that'll be 3 instructors, 3 volunteers, water assist / beach assists, and 3 participants. Those groups will stay completely separate. Like, we won't be doing a big group photo or any of that stuff. We won't have all the pop-ups up and all that stuff. It'll be a very low key, low impact, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to draw in a crowd either. We don't want people to see pop-ups and stuff like that and have people walking up and engaging with these groups randomly off the, not off the street, but off the beach. And so the two groups will get together. They'll, before, as they come up and check in at the trailer, they will get temperature scanned. They'll get their gear will be laid out ahead of time. The participants will get their gear. Volunteers and instructors will help them suit up in their separate groups. And then once everyone is suited up and ready to go, in the two groups of 9, we'll go down to the beach in the separate groups, and then one person from each group will lead a dry land instruction period for everybody in that group, and then they'll go into the water separately and just come in and out on their own as far as the go. So like normally at our clinics, we have people broken up by colors, like green, blue, yellow, and whatnot, and they'll go in for a 15-minute heat, come out, and then the other, everybody switches over and the second group goes out. In this new scenario, group 1 and group 2 will both go out. They can go out at the same time, separated on the beach from each other, probably 10 to 15 yards apart in the beach area, and surf for 15-20 minutes, wherever everybody's comfortable. They'll come in, they'll take a break on their own, separate from each other, and then they'll go back out in the water again, and they'll just do that for a couple hours until everybody's is good to go. And then when they come back up, they will one group will come in and will take off all their gear. We'll have bins set up, or we're probably just going to be those big huge trash cans with cleaning solutions in them, and they'll drop all their, like the participants, the ones that are using the AmpSurf gear will put their face masks, their face shields, their gloves, their wetsuits and everything into one of those bins to sanitize. And then after they've cleared, the second group will do the same thing. Obviously, the volunteers and the instructors will be having their own gear, and they'll go ahead and take care of their stuff on their own and separately at their own vehicles and whatnot. But that's pretty much how it'll work. And so we'll just have to gauge it. And this is our first run at it. So hopefully it all goes well. Again, some of the safety measures, so when someone comes up, when you first get there, if their temperature is above 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius, they'll be told that they're, unfortunately, they won't be allowed to participate in the day's activities. we are well aware that some people run harder than others, some people run cooler than others. Like I actually run 1 to 2 degrees cooler than the average, 98.6. So if I'm, I know for myself personally, if I'm running a 99, I know I've got a fever. And so, but the set we're gonna follow for the average is 100 degrees, and that's what the CDC has recommended as well. And then everyone's just gonna have to wear the full PPE, which what we're using for PPE at the beach are basically surf gloves, and we've ordered these neck sleeves that you can use up over your mouth and nose, that should be able to handle being in the water and not fall apart like a cloth, just a regular face mask. They actually go over your entire skull and on around your neck, and you pull them up, and so that should work really well. We'll also bring a bunch of hoods, surf hoods, to help as well, and use those if needed. But we just want to make sure we're meeting all the requirements that we've set, and that the different governing bodies have set for everything. And we want to make sure we're uber cautious on this, and so we can be successful, so that we can start doing our events nationwide. It is what it is. Many of our clients are the most susceptible, and because of their various conditions and stuff like that. So, the last thing we want to do is to, have someone come to an event and have to be exposed to something. And again, that's another reason for the smaller groups, the spaced out over 2 days, so that if by chance someone does, you could test every day for COVID-19, and you may not have the day you test, and you get it the next day. So this way here, we minimize the amount of interaction and maximize hopefully maximize the experience and the ability for people to interact. And then if someone does come down with COVID-19 after being at the event, the contact tracing from our event should be quite manageable with the smaller groups. Okay, I've talked a lot about it. So does anybody have questions? Please go ahead, feel free to throw them out, unmute, and because we want to make sure we're covering everything and can make these work.
Hey Dana, it's Valerie. I stepped in a little bit late. Is this so this is kind of a go for next week in Oregon, I'm assuming? Yeah,
we are a go. We have pretty much filled up there. I think we have a couple participant slots left, but everything else is pretty much filled up. So yeah, we're definitely a go.
Hey, Dana, waiver procedures and all that are all still signed as they normally would be, correct?
I'm sorry, say again?
Waivers and all that?
Yeah, great. Thank you for bringing that up, Steve, because so we'll have our regular waivers that we always have at all of our events.
Yeah.
But I've actually, this week, a COVID-19 questionnaire will be going out to everyone that's signed up for them to complete prior and to bring with them to the event in a physical copy of that our partners with the ISTO have developed.
Good.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, criticisms? Knock yourselves out.
Did you, Dana, so is the intention to wear any kind of mask in the water? Or I'm sorry, I wasn't clear on that. Or is it at some point you take your mask off when you're with them or not?
No, so you will wear it's a mask, but it's basically a sleeve. You'll wear that the entire time. It just basically it goes over. It's kind of like one of those ones that motorcycle guys wear and stuff, where they pull it over their heads and they just pull it up. So that's the type of mask it is. It's a neoprene / polyester whatever, I don't know, blend, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I researched them online and ordered them, so we'll get them I think on Wednesday, and so hopefully we also ordered actual full-on face shields, so we'll have those available as well, and then of course we're going to bring a bunch of the hoods, the surf hood, wetsuit hoodies and stuff that we have that have some facial covering as well. So, you know, we should have enough to make it all work. I would think anyway.
Dana,
Are you talking about for the surfers and the instructors, or just, these are just instructor requirements, right?
These are for everybody.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Everybody that's going to be together has to have this stuff. Yeah, so we've got, basically we'll have 18 people a day if this all goes the way, you know, the way we're planning it. So we've got enough for 20 plus a day to keep everybody covered.
Dana,
Yes,
What-
Rosie.
when you're in the water as a surfer, when you wipe out, you won't be able to breathe with a mask on.
So the masks that we have are breathable masks and stuff. They're not masks like you've been seeing everybody wearing around, you know, with I mean, the ones I have to wear. Sorry, my phone. I apologize. Let me mute this. Sorry about that, everybody. Can't stretch that far. I'm using a hotspot on my phone, so I have to have it up by the window to make sure it works where I'm at. Sorry about that. So yeah, these sleeves, they're set up for they're kind of like a motorcycle type deal, so you can breathe through them and everything else. But they, you know, they provide enough protection to count for the requirements that need to be met. So we should, yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, Posey, I have no idea how well it's going to work. I mean, we don't know. We haven't done it yet. So, you know, we're going to see. That's why we're going to bring the wetsuit hoodies and stuff for the coverings as well. So, you know, these may not work, but I know that the wetsuits ones work. I've used them. And so we're gonna try it out and see what works. And so that way there, if it all works, we can, you know, we can have it go at the other chapters, like in New England and other spots and stuff.
Posey, you're not going to wipe out anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. What do you want? Yeah. Well, and no, but but another point of this is as well. You know, we always try to make sure we stay waist to chest deep in the water at the events. So I mean, at these, you know, from moving forward, you know, that waist deep is going to be about it for everybody, because if you're more than waist deep, you're going to take a wave over the head more than likely, and that's going to knock your mask off. And so, you know, we've got to have to stress with all of our instructors and everything else not to take anybody out more than waist deep. And so, you know, all this PPE stuff is being shipped to us right now. It should be in by Wednesday. So hopefully, you know, Thursday before we make the drive, we'll be able to, you know, test run a little bit of it to see how well it's going to work and stuff, and, you know, make adjustments on the fly with it. But, you know, I mean, the great thing about what we do, and it's, for whatever reason, it's not being, you know, promoted enough out there, in my opinion, is that, you know, we're outside in the sun, in the you know, the UV rays. And if we're, you know, unless you're someone who's really actively contagious with the virus and coughing and sneezing on everybody, you know, the virus is going to die within a couple minutes of you getting out of your car. If you've touched something, so maybe you stopped at Starbucks on the way to the beach and you picked it up on a doorknob, it's not going to last, you know, and we will be quite anal about when, you know, like Posey, if you're at an event and you're getting out of your car, you come running up to give me a hug, and we say, Posey, back off. No hugs, you know. You know, it just, I know that kind of sucks, because, you know, I mean, that's a big part of what we do, is getting together and everybody just, you know, feeling that stoke and that social, you know, we're going to have to, tighten that up, and that's just is what it is. Any other questions on that?
I just got a comment that I've got a lot of confidence in this event going off because I'm seeing there are other adaptive centers in California that are holding outdoor in-person events. So this ought to go well.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about it as well, Doug, and thank you. And there are a lot of other groups that are already started. I mean, it kind of cracks me up because like all of our permits in Pismo have been canceled. Yeah, you go down to the beach and there's literally groups of 70 people at an event that's an unpermitted event, and they don't stop them at all. But we can't do our clinics, and so regardless of what they're allowing others to do, we will do things the right way. Is just because we don't want to set a bad example or anything, and we want to make sure that at the end of the day, what matters the most is that everybody's safe. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Doug. That's a good point. That other groups are already getting started, and so let's get wet. I'm tired of being out of the water with people. I miss it. So okay, I think I've probably exceeded my time limits. I can't see the time limits, but I'm going to stop this share and whatnot. Doug, are you there? Am I over time?
Way over time, but that's normal.
Oh, sorry, brother. All right, so without further ado, then I will turn this right over to Doug. He's just slapped me across the face. I think you're up next.
Okay. Yeah, I'm up next. Thanks, Dana. Hey, Jose, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, Doug?
Good, thank you. Morning, everyone. So to start off, before I start the actual interview with Jose, I think I just want to give a brief bio on Jose. So first of all, it's truly my honor to be given the opportunity to interview him. Trust me, this is a very edited resume because it would probably take this entire event or longer to talk about all of his achievements. So Jose is a U.S. Army veteran who, during his service in Kandahar, Afghanistan, was severely injured in an IOD explosion. And this was in March 2012. 10 days later, Jose woke up from a coma and called the fact that his teammates managed to save his life a miracle. I have absolutely zero idea of the amount of physical and emotional pain that Jose must have gone through. So out of respect, I'm not even going to attempt to talk about this period, other than to say Jose lost both his legs, his right arm, fingers on his left arm, and some of his internal organs in the blast. Recovering from that and desperate to cast off any suicidal thoughts, a growing opioid addiction, and subsequent damage to his nervous system as a result of the heavy medication, Jose gave up painkillers and tried out surf therapy at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego. Jose now is dominating the surfing scene and has the privilege of representing his country again, this time through Team USA Surfing. If you think about it, from 2012 to now, to be representing your country in surfing is a phenomenal achievement. So Jose, I know that you are very humble, but let's kick off with a bit of a brag session. So perhaps if you could tell us a bit about your surfing achievements and perhaps some of the other things that you've done, like some of these summits that you've done.
Absolutely. I just want to start off with the doctors were actually signing my death certificate right before I woke up. My brother kept telling him that I was too retarded to die, so just make sure to keep him there. And the doctors were like, I don't know, man. I don't think he's gonna make it. And then out of nowhere, I just woke up. So throw that in there.
This place is a better place with you in it. So I think,
yeah, just trying to scare the doctors and the family and friends. But I actually just started surfing 2 years ago competitively. I got into a bit of a funk. As you guys can see in here, I'm a cannabis enthusiast. So after I threw my opiate pills away, what helped me stay and keep my body peaceful was because I actually decided to medicate with cannabis. So I decided to switch everything from opiate pills to cannabis, and I've actually been pill-free for the last 7 years. So I was in the hospital for a year and a half recovering. And right after I left the hospital, I threw all my pills away and just decided to never ever look at them or take them ever again. So I've actually been pill free. I'm supposed to be on testosterone as well. I don't take any of that. So anybody that tells me, oh, I got this problem with me or this problem with me, I can literally just get naked and show you that those problems don't really exist. They only exist in the mind. Um,
Good
some
for
of the
you.
achievements that I've had, right before this Corona hit, I became third in the world at the ISA International Surf Competition. I I didn't even think that I was going to be able to make it to Team USA because at nationals I was supposed to be in first place in order for me to go into the competition for nationals. I mean for the ISA, but they did it a little bit different this year, so I actually got to represent Team USA all over again, and it was completely awesome. Um, to be honest with you, the first competition I ever surfed in, I actually broke a board. I broke two boards actually, one on the second day and one on the third day. And I actually didn't even place. I cried myself home. I remember the feeling, but I remember telling myself I need to stay there to cheer for everybody else because I need to make sure that no matter what, I have my stable mind. Like whether I lose, whether I win, like I still have to be there to cheer everybody else on because I realized at that point that it wasn't just about me. It was about everybody, bringing a community together, making sure that all of us are able to feel free. You know, I've never felt as free as I've ever had after my accident being there. So I felt like I was part of something, you know, and I made sure that even though I lost, I made sure I stayed there clapping for everybody, cheering for everybody. And I actually told myself the next year that I was going to be on the podium and winning something, you know, an award or something like that. And actually, the next year came around for Oceanside, and I ended up coming in second place for assisted division. And I actually got the Jay Leisner Award for being the most stoked. So that's probably the biggest achievement that I've gotten is the most stoked award. Uh, I I just have a lot of fun, to be honest with you. I wasn't supposed to be alive. I'm not supposed to be alive right now. So the reason why I'm always smiling and yelling is because I'm doing something that the world never thought I can do, and I'm doing something that I actually personally never thought I can do as well. So that's the reason why I'm always yelling.
Well, that's what amazes me because I've watched you in the water, and if you don't surf to the best of your ability, I can see you get cross within yourself, but you're still so stoked at the same time that you're just in the water and loving it. So it's just as another competitor, it's so awesome to see that you've got both sides of that so dialed in.
To be honest with you, I don't bring talent to the table. I bring hard work, and I know that eventually hard work will overtake talent, and that's where I'm at right now. I got this one competitor that's always been in my name, and he's number one. He's been number one forever, and I'm trying to get right there with him, you know. And I want to do it properly, so I want to make sure that I'm outworking everybody else that's competing against me, you know. And when I do see that I could have done something better, I don't ever smack the water because you cannot beat the water. So don't do one of these to the water because the water's gonna beat you up next time you're in there. So I try to stay humble, and not only that, it's not just for me, but for my competitors around me. If I feel like if someone would actually beat me fair and square and everything's perfect for them, I cannot go to the beach and feel sad. I got to make sure that I show them and I tell them they did amazing, you know, and that's the biggest key factor for me, at least. Even being out in the water when we're competing is I tell everybody good luck. I make sure that they're safe, and you know, there's one time for my first competition, one of my helpers in the water. It was in Oceanside. I don't know if you remember in 2018 when we were there. It was really, really big that day. For whatever reason, they still decided to throw out the adaptive surfers. So we went out, And one of my helpers, we didn't know he had, I personally didn't know he had asthma, and we went under. And another wave came, and another wave came, and when we popped up, he was choking out, and he's like, "All right, okay, go get back on the board." I'm like, "No, bro, not Rich. On the board, like we'll help you out." And I was just there waiting until he got better. So there's things like that. Competition brings out the best of us, but I want to make sure that it doesn't bring the bad in us as well, you know? So, and that's the big key factor for me as well, that I always want to show that to everybody, that I've been mistreated a lot. So why not just show smiles? Why not just show happiness? You know? You see? Perfect.
It's infectious on the beach. You can see it. I mean, you can see how everyone looks up to you and respects you. And I mean, it's your whole demeanor and your attitude about being a competitor. And that's, I wish a lot more competitors were so humble, but also so competitive at the same time. It's an amazing combination. So tell us about the first time you got into the ocean. How was that?
The first time I got in after my accident, I actually have never surfed in my life before my accident. So that's why I say I don't bring talent, I bring hard work. Just because I've never got the feeling of standing up on a board. I've never even boogie board, to be honest with you. So the first time I went out, I'll never forget it. It was Betty took me out with Darren, and if I'm correct, it was Amanda, which is a big helper that we have in Hawaii right now. So every time I see her, it's like, "Hey, what's up, best friend?" So I remember them taking me out, and it was a big, giant board. It looked like I was on a huge boat. And I remember it was the smallest wave in the world, now that I recall it, because now I'm taking bigger waves. But to me, it was one of the biggest waves I've ever taken, and just that adrenaline. I could compare it to, I used to ride motorcycles when I was younger. I had an R6, and I would do a lot of wheelies and stoppies and a lot of crazy things. I probably will describe that same feeling, if not a bit better. Sometimes it feels like a free fall from a wave. I can't really explain it, to be honest with you. It's something that I really, really look forward to every single time I'm on the water. It's kind of like my drug now.
Yeah, for all of us, I agree with you completely. It keeps you sane and keeps you on a straight.
Keep me humble, to be honest with you. After going to war and surviving a blast that they told me, the blast was a 60-pound IED. So the blast was actually meant for a vehicle. It wasn't meant for a human. And sometimes you need the water to humble you. Sometimes you need the world to humble you. And I feel like every single time I'm in the water, I don't have a reason to feel like I'm a million stories tall. You know, I love to feel like an ant, because then it always reminds me and puts my world into perspective of how much I need to make sure the rest of us around us are just as good as I am. You know, and that's probably the biggest key factor for me.
I find that if I paddle out with an arrogant attitude, or I can surf well type of attitude, I find that I get humiliated so quickly, and just brought down to size by the ocean. So it does that.
Yeah, just FYI, if you're surfing around me and you're arrogant and you're not paying attention, I'll humble you real quick.
I love it.
So, it happened before where I'm looking at my friends, like, because what we do when we're in the water, it's kind of like a treadmill. So we'll make sure that the next person goes. Like, if I catch a wave, then I'll make sure the next 5 people go in front of me, because that's the way I was taught.
Yeah.
You know? And when I see people out there, I'm like, don't be arrogant around me. I'll give you 2 tries. On the third one, I'll actually jump in there.
I wish that was a standard surf lesson for everyone. Just that sharing and respect.
That comes from Joe, my pusher. He's been surfing all his life, and I promise you, he's yelled at me. He's almost kicked me before, because I would paddle back into where the surfers were actually catching their break. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. So he's taught me so much, and I pick up so quick that I know what not to do and what I should do. So I try to make sense of that as well. Even though I am in the position that I am, I only have one arm to paddle. So I try to keep that even more in mind, because I got to stroke a little bit faster in order to get to where I want to.
Guaranteed. I understood. So on that note, I mean, I've watched you at some of the ASL contests, especially that ASL contest we had at Huntington. I think it was 2 years ago at Huntington Beach, where those waves were pretty big and they were round. They were scary waves. So do you have any other safety equipment besides your leash, your board, and your wetsuit to help you if you have a heavy wipeout to get back to the surface? Because it must be tough.
One thing about me is I swim a lot, and I work out a lot for the same reason, because I only have one arm, and when we're competing out there and when we're doing stuff, I don't ever want to hinder one of my other competitors. So I try to make sure that when I do wipe out and stuff like that, that I have the greatest ability to get back up. Or I know if I will need help ASAP, I'll try to at least give the tap on the head saying I need help, or whatever it is that we need. I try so hard that sometimes, I mean, I've been in 10-foot waves before with no problem.
Nice.
That's something just because the first competition I had a guy that was helping me that had asthma, and he was needing help, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll need to do at the time, but because I've been to war, I know how to prepare myself for just life. The doctor told me after I woke up, the reason why I probably stayed intact and I was still alive or being able to wake up again was because of how strong my body was up until that point. I used to run 20 miles a day. I used to ruck with 100 pounds for 5 to 10, 15 miles sometimes a day. I always place myself knowing that at any given time, my life can be taken, or it can try to be taken away from me. So I treat the water the same way, with respect, just like I treat life. I try to be the best at myself. I do a lot of ab workouts. Before they shut down my gyms, I was going to the gym every single day because I don't know when my next competition will be. So when it is ready to come up, I want to make sure that I'm always ready, for the same reason that every time I hit the water, I try to be ready. So the best thing I can tell anybody that's trying to do this properly, I always suggest to swim and to at least work out. I mean, Quinn works out with me. She invites me to the gym and then smokes me. So this is something that we're continuously making sure that we're good at, you know, because we don't want to hurt ourselves. At the same time, we don't want to hurt anybody around us that can be helping us, because if we're not paying attention, if we're not listening to our help, there's been times where I see a big wave coming and all I hear is jump off. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I jump off. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant, you know? So it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of making sure that you're personally okay, you know? Like I said, we're always working out. We're trying to be better for ourselves. So I think that's the biggest key factor is making sure you're in shape for it.
And if you're not in shape, you're putting other people's lives at risk.
Yes.
They're going to have to come help you. So
yeah, you know, you can hurt some. Think about it. I have a 10-foot leash. If I'm not paying attention to what's going on and I don't tell my helper, they can get smacked with the board and then they could really get hurt if it hits them on the top of the head or anything like that. Gracefully, we've been so good with everybody that I have a big mouth. So I'm able to yell at everybody like, hey, I need help, or hey, I got it, or, you know, it works out well in the water. So it's helpful.
Good. And I just want to, I don't think, this is the Santa Claus contest we had, I think. This slide that's up now.
Pismo.
Dana, can you go back one slide? I just want to talk. Can you go back to the one with 2 slides back? Is that possible? I guess not. So I just wanted to show everyone.
Are they going back?
No, I wanted you just to, if you could go back 2 slides. I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, okay, so stop on that. So that fancy little red outfit that Jose's wearing, that's not a life vest or anything. That's his Santa Claus outfit. I just had to save you because people are going to start asking, what is that funny thing you're wearing?
What about my beautiful elf hat?
No, not you. So we had a Santa Claus contest and everyone had to dress up as Santa Claus. So that's the elf, and I think it's Santa Claus looking at him saying,
Yeah, we
Doing
drove
it
from,
again this year for anyone that wants to join us, Quinn.
yeah, last year we did from LA to Pismo. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was an absolutely amazing event. It was great fun. So we'll do, yeah, like Dana said, we're doing again this year. So we need as many people as possible. So just moving up, we've spoken about your progression from being a grommet to a world-class athlete. What are some of the best waves that you've surfed?
To date, I think my best wave that I surfed was during coronavirus at at Cap Pendleton at Churches. It actually picked up to 10 feet
Oh, wow.
about 3-4 weeks ago when that big swell came in, and it was beautiful. And guess what? I had all my friends out there, so we were having fun. So it's Churches is a nice long right, and if you can pick it up right at the point, you can go all the way to the parking lot. And nobody really knows this, but the reason why I went from third to second in 2018 to 2019 is because right before one of the big competitions, Joe decided to take me out there, and I felt the reef at the bottom, all the cobblestones and all of that. I actually hit the bottom twice or 3 times, and Joe goes, "All right, now you know what that feels like. Now make sure you catch the wave." So right after that, I started figuring out why. What I was doing is I was actually catching the wave, and I was trying to turn when I was
Yeah.
too deep. And I kept realizing that I was rolling in the bottom of the wave, and I'm like, why does this keep happening? Why? And Joe finally took me out to Churches, and that's when I understood that I have to pivot a little bit right before I actually hit the bottom to actually make the top turn. So it's little things like that that Joe has been pushing me to different breaks. I started off surfing at Del Mar Beach Break. Surfed La Jolla right before all of ISA during winter time. I think it got up to 8 feet. I think
Yeah.
maybe it was pushing 10 feet during the winter time, and that's what I was practicing on as well at La Jolla Shores. And I actually got to surf at Sandy's last year when we went for the competition. It was just body surfing, but if anybody's been to Sandy's in Hawaii, they know it's an actual 10-foot beach break. So you
Yeah.
have a triple amputee getting shoved by his pusher. And then the lifeguard comes and he goes, "All right, I know he's really good, but that's going to be super like bad if something goes wrong." Right. So we ended up coming out just because of the the lifeguards out there telling us, "Hey, that's too much." But I try to enjoy different things. Even when I was in Hawaii, I was actually jumping off the cliff, and I heard stories of me after that. Hey, there's a guy with one hand just being thrown off because I was actually having the locals like grab me because it was my brother Joe and Darren, so they were taking me to the top of the little cliff. And then the locals, because they're so much bigger, they're like, "Hey, we can toss them out." They just grabbed me and just threw me off.
Just threw you out. I see you do some crazy things also, like I was stalking you on Facebook, like you do archery, you still do some shooting, all that.
Yeah. Because I hunt and I live in California, people like to open up their mouth and say, "I bet you if you give that guy a bow and an arrow, he wouldn't hit anything." So guess what? I already took out a turkey with my bow and arrow, and I think I'm an amputee that did it. So yeah, I'm always trying different things. I don't like to hear that you can't do something. Even to the point where me driving, if you give me a regular car, as long as it's not stick shift, I'll drive it. I don't have any controls in my car, in my truck, in my car, anything. I literally just hop in and just take off.
Hi. So just the contest that I've seen you surfing, and we've briefly spoken about it, is without a doubt you're the most stoked surfer. I mean, I remember when you won the Stoked Surfer Award at Huntington also. You deserve that so much. So what is it that drives you and makes you stay positive with your surfing?
You know what? I'm actually trying to do something in this world. So there's a lot of people that are life coaches and motivational speakers. but they really haven't achieved anything besides being a life coach or a motivational speaker. I have not only came from the ghetto, I survived gang wars. I've survived. I've survived drugs. I've survived all kinds of things, and I also gone to war. I stepped on the bomb, and I actually lived as well after that. But that wasn't enough for me. So my thought process is I have to become somebody in order for me to be able to help others in their life. And that was a big key factor for me. It wasn't more of because I could tell people what they should do, what they shouldn't do, what direction they should go in, but I feel like they would actually listen to me more if I have some achievements behind me. You know, the greatest thing that I've ever done before joining the military, I was a college dropout. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I was a college dropout that didn't go into gangs and didn't care about drugs. But that's nothing to me, you know. I grew up in Compton. I know that I can help out a lot of people because unlike therapists, because I've never actually gone through a therapist because for one reason and one sole reason, no matter what that therapist has something to say, they have never been through the struggles that I've ever been through. As a matter of fact, most therapists that I've actually known have had a silver spoon. And most of the therapists that I know actually take prescription pills because they think there's something actually wrong with them. Guess what? I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually trying to help people the proper way and show them that they have the ability to become someone greater. So that's always my drive and the reason why I continue to smile, because I'm a triple amputee. I have a lot of reasons why to be mad. I have a lot of reasons why I should be crying at home. I have a lot of reasons why I should say, man, fuck all this world. I shouldn't be here, you know, and I should just take my life. But it's not like that. To be honest with you, I have more fun struggling because I know I'm struggling to become somebody, to do something. And that's the beauty of life for me personally. Every single time that I was running, every single time that I'm swimming, and I'm always thinking about how much more can I push my body. And to think about it, I don't really see it. I see a lot of people that have full bodies and yet decide not to do anything with it.
What?
So much drive is because I'm actually trying to do something, not just for myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to do something for the world. And as you guys can see, there's so much pain in the world right now. There's so much hatred going on. Guess what? I'm still staying positive. I'm still happy. In my world right here, everything is still okay because I personally have done everything in my life to make sure that when I go, I'm happy. I make sure that every single person that walks into my life, I treat them the way I want to be treated, with respect as a human.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the way I keep walking around this earth, and that makes me feel really good because I know that I've done everything in my power to make sure that everyone around me is happy, and I continue to do that. Look at all the people in this smiley.
Well, I think what came through so clearly in your bio and just you talking, it's not about yourself, it's about other people. Like when you said you survived the blast, it was your teammates that got you through it, and like now it's about you helping.
If it wasn't for all the prayers, if it wasn't for them being hopeful, I don't think I would be here, to be honest with you. No one believed that I was going to die. No one, because of the same way that I am right here, I was over there. I wasn't out there trying to kill somebody. I was out there trying to help. We're humanitarians. When I went into the military, my ultimate goal was become a Green Beret, and Green Berets are humanitarians. That means that they establish a lifestyle and they try to help those around them. And that's what I ultimately wanted to do, to be a humanitarian. You know, and I think I'm doing that in a different way.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Listen, I told everyone we could go on for hours and hours, and I'm getting messages from Dana saying we've got to wrap it up. So I'm sorry, we've got to wrap it up, Jose, but I mean, I would love to do a follow-up sometime. So this is my Quinn, thank you. We really appreciate your service, and you're truly an inspiration. You're a hero. And I know on behalf of all the AmpSurf team, we're really humbled to have you as a guest speaker. So thanks a million.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys. For whatever reason, if you want to get in contact with me, I'm always available through my Instagram. It's OneGuru1. So 1GURU1. And the reason why I have this, to be honest with you, is because a lot of people help. I help a lot of people out. I do motivational speaking for kids in high school and even for teachers and stuff like that. And a lot of them feel more safe and secure sending me a message through there. And I've gotten messages saying of their parents beating them up, of them not feeling good, like all kinds of different things. So I speak a lot for everybody. And I just want to make sure if you guys want to get in contact with me, you can find me on Instagram on OneGuru1. Quinn's always tagging me. Doug, everybody always knows out here. So I appreciate you.
After once we close off, maybe just put it on the chat.
Yeah, I'll put it on here. Like I said, appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are staying mentally stable during this crazy, crazy times. But just know that you don't have to be listening to the crazy shit that's out there. As long as this is fine and as long as your heart is in the right place, continue to smile and continue to keep doing what you guys are doing. Absolutely love you guys for always helping us out. And I can't thank you guys enough. You guys make a difference in our lives every single day. And thank you from the bottom of my heart.
We thank you, brother. Thank you. Okay, Dana, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Hey, Jose, we love you, brother. And that was a great interview. I know we're running a bit behind, folks. I apologize for that. Yeah, I mean, I think we could probably chat all day. So thanks, Jose and Doug. That was really, really cool. Hey, so up next, we have the Queen, Miss Waitley, and she's going to be getting interviewed by our one and only Annette Martin. And so I want to pass that mic over to them and let them hit it. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, other questions for Jose, go ahead and put them up on the chat. And Jose, please put up your contact info. Thank you so much. Annette and Quinn, you are on. Quinn, make sure you unmute. Thanks.
Hi, Quinn. Good to see your face. We chatted just for a sec over the phone, but wonderful to see your face finally. I just wanted to give a real quick bio on Quinn. She is an adaptive surfer and an athlete. She's one of, if you can believe it, 7 girls. Her poor parents. No, just kidding. One of 7 girls, and she's one of a quadruplet. Right? So 4 girls, just a complete miracle birth. And she said in her bio that her parents were hoping for a boy, and instead they got quadruplet girls. Yeah. So due to the fact that they were quadruplets, they were preemie babies, and she was born with spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy. And that left her unable to walk and has her in a wheelchair. But that wheelchair did not stop her. That palsy did not stop her. She was raised in a very loving home. She was treated just like the rest of her siblings. And that in turn gave her the ability to thrive as a young woman, as an athlete. And it grew her into the fierce competitor that she is today. It sounds like her whole family is full of athletes, and she is right alongside them. And she plays many sports, but her favorite is surfing. She says that surfing has impacted her life tremendously by changing her perspective and forcing her to leave her chair and overcome all of her physical limitations. And that's the amazing thing that the ocean can do. She started surfing competitively 5 years ago and is now a member of Team USA, and she's currently ranked 3rd in the world in her division. Woo, woo. And she's turned her challenges, she's just turned them around. She's turned it into a truly blessed life, and she says that she wouldn't change a thing. So welcome, Quinn. How you doing this morning? I can't hear you.
You can't? I think I unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
I can, but it's hard. Is anyone else having a hard time hearing her?
Let's see. Says my audio is on test speaker. You hear
Well,
me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome.
Just having a good morning and yeah. Still
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm going to start with my questions for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So as a fellow ocean lover, I do find that surfing is a form of therapy. It really just helps me kind of shed off the stress of life and of the day, and helps me kind of get grounded again. And I wanted to have you tell us about what surfing does for you, both physically and mentally.
It's funny. I played so many sports in my life. Being 25 now, I just can't believe how many sports I've done, and surfing has definitely impacted me the most. And I think for a while I've always loved the water. If you ask my parents or my sisters, they would call me a fish out of the water. So when I started surfing, it just, for me, mentally, I thought, going to the beach is one of the hardest things, but, as soon as I got surfing, I was like, oh, I want to do this more, people can just carry me, throw me on their back to get me down there, and so, we made it happen, and just that difficult process of, getting down to the beach, getting in my wetsuit, and just going through that process. My family was willing to do that just to get me in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny, just the fact that I'm able to get out of my chair for 20 minutes, maybe longer. It just, I never realized how much I don't get out of my chair, so that definitely made me realize, okay, I'm gonna go surf. Just leave my chair on the sand or whatever, and just to be in the water, I don't know, there's something that's really scary and really exciting at the same time, so it's a combination of things. But yeah, it definitely gets me out of my comfort zone every single time, and sometimes I really like surf sessions, and sometimes I really great ones. So yeah, it's kind of a mixture of all things that have really helped me through life.
That's awesome. I heard that you have a quote that says, I've come to realize that we need our bad days to put our good days into perspective. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, everyone, if you come to any surf event or any of my friends, they always say I'm smiling from year to year, no matter what kind of day I have, and that's true, but it's a little different scenario when you get work in the water, and you have that really bad surf session, and then when you have a good one, to me, the really bad surf session makes the good one that much better. So some surfers are oh, I only surf when it's good out, but I'm coming to learn that I would rather, I really want to surf bad waves than good waves. So yeah, that's kind of so.
That's awesome. So you have mentioned that you play other sports. What are the other sports that you do play, and then what elevates surfing above them to be your favorite?
Hey, Quinn. Hey, just really quick, guys. Let's see if we can get the sound, because everybody's getting a lot of reverb back on your sound. So don't mute. Quinn, see if you're a little bit closer, see how it sounds. Try right there.
Hear me now?
Yeah, that's getting better.
Okay. How about now?
Still getting that reverb. Try turning down your volume on your speaker. See if that helps. I don't know if it will or not. Go ahead and just start singing or something so we can hear you.
Sing.
Well, I can't sing, but.
Yeah, you can.
That's better though.
It is getting better. Whatever you're doing is working.
Okay. I turned my volume down a little bit.
Okay, well that's definitely a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's better.
That's definitely better. We're still getting a little bit, but don't worry about it. That's much better. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I just want to make sure people can hear you.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, so Quinn, you play other sports. So what are those other sports? And then what makes surfing just way above the rest to make it your favorite?
I grew up playing wheelchair basketball. And then when one of my twins, I say twins just to make it easier on everyone, because when I say quadruplet, people kind of don't know what to do. But then one of my twins, who also has CP but a lesser version of it, she started playing wheelchair basketball, and I'm really competitive, and she just came in and smoked me. So then I left basketball to play rugby, and I was really good at that from preteen through high school, kind of, and then I got injured, and I realized I just couldn't play that sport anymore, which made me really sad because I was super good at it, and I was hoping to go to the Paralympics one day, but plans changed. And then in high school, I got huge into adaptive skateboarding, or WCMX, and so from 16 to 20, actually, I was huge on the skate scene, and I was actually one of the only quadriplegics in the sport, and one of the very few in the sport. And if you ever look up Aaron Wheels that does the backflips, or any of these guys, I struggled in that sport, even though I loved it. I would go to contests, and I just want to get the scores, and I would take slam after slam. And I would just get back up and be smiling, and then a couple years ago, I ended up splitting my head open. And I think I had nationals like 2 weeks later, and I woke up, and I was just like, the first thing I said, I was like, will I be able to surf in 2 weeks? And so I got glued back together, and I surfed, and I still like competed. So, after that, I just really put my eye on surfing, and I realized through all the sports I played, it was way gentler on my body. And I was, surfing's like the best sport I'm good at. If you go through all my sports, I'm definitely way better at surfing. So, surfing's way gentler on the body, and I just love it, and it makes me in the water, and my whole family's involved. So, yeah, that's why it's my favorite.
It's so neat that your whole family's involved and that you have that support and that you're all working together as a team unit. I just think that's really cool that you have that strong family surrounding you. So you're currently ranked 3rd in the world in your division. And I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about your training regimen and like how much time you spend in the water and what you do for like cross training when you're out of the water.
So, I actually don't know what I'm ranked in the world. I don't think it's 3rd. I think it's 6th, actually. But either way, that's still good. I would like to be 3rd this year, but I don't. I'm not really sure what I'm ranked, but honestly, I'm not in the water that much. Like with the prone assist division, I need more help getting out of the water and into the water. And my dad is my pusher, so you know, and I'm not his only kid, so I don't really get to surf that much, and not many people know that. So I'm hoping to really change that, and maybe in the next year or 2, I can find another pusher that's not my dad, and try to get out in the water more. So pretty much, you know, whenever I surf, it's kind of like just the competitive mentality, not really free surfing. I actually haven't surfed since the ISAs in March, and Jose kind of grew up me on that when we did a workout together. But yeah, so I wish I could surf more. I surf in Coronado a lot, where I live in La Jolla. So yeah, I definitely want to get in the water more.
Get out more. Yeah,
but
you're in warm water.
So what was that?
Oh, I was saying, well, and you're in warm water, so that makes it even better.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I actually get super cold all of the time. And I actually have to wear a wetsuit in Hawaii because I'm so small that my body starts shaking. That's also another reason why I compete, because I can't stay in the water that long. But yeah, so besides surfing, I'm in the gym pretty much 5 days a week. I got into CrossFit 2 years ago. Even though the CrossFit world's imploding, I love working out. I love being in the gym, and yeah, I just love training and surfing. So
that's awesome. And that's just so cool that you can incorporate the CrossFit training, because that's a hard workout within itself. So that's wonderful. How would you recommend someone get started that hasn't surfed before? What kind of tips would you give them? How would you motivate them to take that first step to get into the water?
Honestly, I would just be upfront and just say jump in. Just go for it is always been my motto. And if you guys know Hunter Hop Chop, I've actually known him since I was 3, and when I first started surfing, he was so terrified, and he would come to 2-point events just not even wanting to get into the water. So if people haven't surfed before and they have that type of fear, I would just say, just come spend a day at the beach. Like, you can't have a bad day at the beach, and I would never force someone to get in the ocean if they felt that uncomfortable. But we have some great volunteers, and every event I go to have great volunteers. And if it weren't for them, I would not surf.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Volunteers make it happen. And then you have the drive. So that's wonderful. I see here in this photo that's on the screen that it looks like your board has some handles on it. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you've done to like make changes to your board? And do you have a favorite board, or do you have a couple different types that you use for fun versus being competitive?
I do have a couple different boards. It's funny, in that picture, that's one of the first boards that my dad made me. So he actually got metal drawer handles or bathroom handles and just screwed them into the foam and kind of silicone wrapped it and like put whatever's on top of the silicone to make it grabbable. And so I really just surfed on Costco boards, and then I got sponsored by Bird Surf Shed, and he really made my first custom made board, and it's kind of like a Tomo style. I honestly don't know what that means. If there are more surfers in with the lingo, I don't know what Tomo style is, but it's still one of my favorite boards. I'm also sponsored by Joe Loper's Repairs, and he actually made my current board that I call Sherbert, and it's like light pink and orange, but right now I still surf on the Bird Surf Shed board, which is gray, and it's the best board that I have. I'm still learning about equipment and all that as I'm surfing, so I do have handles on it and some paddles there for me not to slide off, but that's about it. So.
That's awesome. And that's again awesome that your family's like rallying around you and making boards for you. And I see Dana saying that your dad is amazing and he wants your family to adopt him. That's great. So tell me more about like beach access. Do you have a strategic way, a unique method to get into the water onto your board? Tell me more about that.
So since I'm so small and light, my dad honestly just throws me on his back. We do have several beach chairs, but if we're in a rush, he just throws me on his back, grabs the board, and goes into the water. So the only time I really use beach chairs is for like our Team Quinn events. My family is nonprofit. And then we use the beach tracks and all that stuff. And then for contests, I only use beach chairs. So I would say about 80% of the time, my dad just throws me on his back and just goes into the water.
Piggyback style. You just mentioned Team Quinn, and I believe you said that's a nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit more about Team Quinn?
My family started Team Quinn to really support me in my sports, but we've really used it for surfing, especially in Coronado and San Diego. It's funny, one of the ladies here who's a paraplegic, the first time she's ever been back in the water since her accident, which is like 20 something years, she came to one of our small events that we put on, and you know, my dad took her out and she was just so happy. Every time she sees me, she's like, when are we surfing? I'm like, oh, I'll let my dad know and we'll just go down to Coronado and get you out in the water. So, you know, it's really based on just connecting the adaptive community and surfing community. But for me, one of the only adaptive surfers in Coronado, and I was honestly the only kid in a wheelchair my age in high school when I moved to Coronado. You know, Coronado doesn't really know about adaptive surfing besides me. It's really fun for me just to be kind of like the only well-known adaptive surfer, and we have local contests, and then everyone knows me from Coronado, so people just love helping out with Team Quinn, and especially the volunteers. I feel like they have more fun than the surfers do at the event. So it's just about connecting people together and spending a day at the beach, which you really can't have a bad day at the beach.
That's very true. Well, it's been really wonderful hearing more about you and all the awesome sports that you do. And you are certainly an athlete and you are a role model. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better. And I hope that we get to meet in person someday. Does anyone have any questions for Quinn? Am I allowed to say that, Dana? Shake your head, yes. No. These are great photos.
Yes,
So,
of course. Anyone, please ask any
There's
questions.
some old photos. Man, I have had.
We dug deep, Quinn. We dug deep.
That is
Hey,
so awesome.
I just want to say, every event, I've known Quinn now for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And, you know, just like Jose was, you know, ever talk about, you know, the smile, like Quinn just always lights up a room or a beach, wherever she's at. And, you know, yeah, you may have some bad days. I don't know, but we all do, but you always seem to have a great light and glow about you. And anyway, I love you for it.
Yeah, thank you. There's actually, I think it was last year in Hawaii where Jose and I had to compete against each other, and I think I lost my heat and I cried. And Jose was holding me, but it looks like I'm laughing, and I'm actually like just crying. And then what's funny is like 40 minutes later, he competed and got knocked out. So he came to me crying. So we both had this just crying moment of just losing in that contest. But yeah.
It happens. It happens. It's tough sometimes. I know some of those. I know at the U.S. Open this year it was that semifinal round. I got knocked out. That was a tough hit. And sometimes, yeah. But you know what? I think we all, you know, Jose and yourself, and you know, we learn to shake that stuff off as being a competitor. You know, but sometimes they hurt.
Yeah.
You only fail when you quit.
Hoorah. Hoorah.
Hey, Quinn, Joshua over here. I got to say, I haven't had a chance to hear your story very much, but I put it in the chat, but I got to tell you, it's an honor to surf on Team USA with you. Your work ethic is on point. So just want to get that out there.
Thanks. Thank you. It's really hard for me because I don't get the scores in contests. So that's been really hard sometimes. And especially being the only woman for assist division, not many people know I compete with guys year round, so I'm constantly competing against Jose and Jesse Billauer like all year, and I only get to compete against the women. I think twice a year, but sometimes just more humbling when I get to beat the guys out during all the contests. It just puts a bigger smile on my face. So.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any more questions for Quinn?
There's some awesome waves, Quinn.
Quinn, I just want to say you're an amazing competitor to compete against, and you are absolutely another reason why I've never given up, because of that smile. You are awesome, and I love you. And thank you for always pushing me and taking me to some crazy trainings.
You killed me that last workout. I thought I was gonna die. But no, it's always fun competing against the guys, and yeah, and especially seeing Dana and getting to know him over the years. So it's just fun.
Cool. Well, hey guys, Quinn, thank you so much for being here with us today and being a part of this, and everybody, Jose as well. You guys both, are two of my heroes, and I always feel blessed and honored when we all are able to get together and surf. And so hopefully soon we will be able to do so. I'm hoping September with the U.S. Open will happen, and we can all surf and represent. So until then, hopefully we can keep going with these and keep connecting as best we can. Doug, I think we are doing a drawing, are we not?
Yep. Pick a number. So the draw is for the people who responded to our survey for the Rockaways Warrior weekend. So pick a number between 1 and 11, Dana.
Okay, so we're going to mix this up a little bit, and we're going to turn it over to we're going to give 2 away, Doug. And
Okay.
I want to have Quinn. Can you go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 11, and then Jose, you pick a number between 1 and 11.
Like, can you repeat that? I'm struggling with hearing.
No worries. Just pick a number between 1 and 11, or 1 and or 11. Doesn't matter.
Okay, 1 and 11.
This must be from Sundays,
7.
right, Doug?
Sorry, say again?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead. Sorry. What was it, Quinn?
7.
7.
Doug Cox.
All right.
So
Hey,
thank you.
I think Doug's there somewhere. There he is. Outstanding. And Jose, would you pick a number between 1 and 11 and not 7? 3.
1, 2, 3. Joni Lewis.
All right. Outstanding. I don't think Joni's on here with us today, but Doug, glad you're here. And thank you guys for getting the surveys in. Yeah, so every week, every event we do these, we'll send you guys out a survey request, everyone has signed up. So if you could fill those out, that makes you eligible for the next event's drawing. And we'll get those out to everybody. And we'll get this event posted up on the YouTube channel for folks to check out. And we do have another one of these next week. It's going to be running simultaneously with the Oregon Clinic. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how we're going to make that work, but we are going to figure it out one way or another. It may just be a live feed from Oregon. So that might be kind of cool too. We don't know, but we'll try to figure it out. And so if you can, if you're not going to be able to make it to Oregon with us, please chime into that event, and you'll at least be able to see us at the beach in Oregon. God willing, we have some Wi-Fi out there. So it's really up in the air on that. But next week we have gold medalist Liv Stone on with us. We have Canadian adaptive blind surfer Ling Pai with us, and we have the head of USA Surfing and US Olympic Committee member Greg Cruz is supposed to be with us. So it's a good lineup, and we'll also obviously cover some pertinent information, but more than likely the information session for next week will just be a live feed from the beach and what's going on, and you know, hopefully it will be absolutely the most exciting thing you've experienced since COVID-19 came along. So yeah, so guys, thank you all so much. We don't have any musicians with us today, so I can't Dennis can't play us out with some songs. So if anybody wants to sing, Justin, go ahead, knock yourself out. Justin's not unmuting himself. I don't know why. Justin, you should sing the Marine Corps hymn for us.
from the halls of Montezuma.
Shores of Tripoli.
No, guys. Hey, sorry I got on. I was driving on the first part of this, so I couldn't talk. It was really noisy in my car, but it's great hearing you guys. Really enjoyed the clinic today. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Awesome. Hey, yeah, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and weekend, and do those surveys when Doug sends them out, and we will see you all again soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, guys. Good to
Thanks,
see everyone.
everybody.
See you guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah, thank you so much, Quinn and Jose. It was very inspirational. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.